Okay, so today we are watching How Porn Became the American Dream. This is a video by Moon. So, yes, I'm watching a Moon video. This guy usually has really good videos. So, let's get into it.
Today, there's no better way to become
And
rich.
before I get into the video, I just want to mention my thoughts. Obviously, from the title, How Porn Became the American Dream. Obviously, it has to do with money. Well, as you can see, even on the screen, it shows money. But yeah, obviously it's money. A lot of girls can become multi millionaires in the business, and people that don't, like businesses, like porn businesses, make so much money. So that's kind of why porn became so big, is because of money, obviously. So I just wanted to just mention that.
Famous and celebrated in modern culture than by making porn videos. Look at the porn stars from days gone by. They mostly ended up dead, addicted to drugs, or washed up on the back streets in downtown LA somewhere. Now look at Mia Khalifa. She's a multi-millionaire who hosted shows with NBA legends, sat front row at Paris and Milan fashion weeks, modeled for Vivienne Westwood and Moschino.
That is so crazy though, like back then, because like the girls they're still hated on today, but they're super successful, like multi-millionaires.
Runs her own jewelry business and has been interviewed by basically every major outlet on earth. She was a paralegal from a Lebanese family, and she didn't churn out film for years. She just claimed she made 11 of them over a few months. And within a few weeks of her debut, she was the #1 performer on the biggest adult site in the world, where she received death threats, was shunned from her religion, and her family stopped speaking to her.
ISIS was after you?
I'm not allowed back in Lebanon. I was banned from the Middle East. Which is crazy, because they're the ones who watch my videos the most.
Then she walked away from the industry forever after making
If that's true, or if they if like she look at her stats and like she gets a lot of views from there, because like on social media you can like look at like where your views come from. If that's true, that's funny.
just $12,000, or at least that's what she claimed.
You were paid a grand total of 12,000 US dollars, and yet you made millions and millions of dollars for both Bang Bros, the company that you worked with, and Pornhub, the aggregating site. How could that be?
That's just how it is.
But between then and now, Mia Khalifa, like so many others, has used porn to become in every—
That is crazy though. 12K, like they obviously take advantage of porn stars, like businesses, obviously, but that is crazy, man.
every sense of the word, famous. Not infamous, but legitimately famous, rubbing shoulders with A-listers and getting invited to their cocktail parties. Something huge happened in the world of adult content to create a pipeline to status and generational wealth. For Sarah Jo Chamoun, which is Mia's real name, she grew up right alongside the internet, and more specifically at a turning point for the sex industry.
I mean, I'm a kid who grew up playing World of Warcraft and using dial-up internet and fixing the computer at home when it broke. Like, that was my job because I was of that generation. So I think that I've always had a knack for what I like to consume online, which in turn influenced how I like to be online.
Adult content back then was an analog affair, driven by VHS tapes, magazines, and adult video stores. The money was limited and controlled by the gatekeepers. Performers like Mia got paid per scene, with no way to self-publish or go independent. And like so many others, she was pulled off the street in Miami by a random man who asked if she thought about modeling, suggesting she come down to a studio and take a look around. The studio was Bang Bros, one of the leading studios at the time.
It wasn't just, hey, do you want to come do porn? It was more so, oh, you're beautiful. Like, would you like to do some modeling? Oh, you know, you have a great body. Like, I think you'd be great in nude modeling. Things like that. And after I came and toured,
yeah, they talked you into it slowly. That's what a lot of companies probably do. Yeah.
the studio, you know, it was very respectable. It was a gorgeous location. It was in Miami, in Doral, Florida. It was clean. Everyone who worked there was nice. All of their cubicles were decorated with family photos. Like, it was nothing.
She signed the paperwork, came back the next day, filmed her first scene, and a month in, they put her in a hijab, which was incredibly controversial but decisive for her career. She told the studio that the video was going to get her killed.
I verbatim told them, "You guys are gonna get me killed."
And they said,
They just laughed.
She did it anyway, and after it premiered, the avalanche started.
She did
Radical
it anyway.
Islamic
Okay, now I can see why ISIS or whatever, like, terrorist group in Lebanon. But that is crazy that they still made her do it. Yeah. But obviously porn companies aren't going to be the nicest. And also I'm just going to say most companies look at product, like for example labels in the music industry, look at people or their artists as products, and obviously in the porn industry that's going to happen as well, probably worse, because of the content they make. So the company will try to squeeze whatever they can out of them
hacked her Instagram
and make them go really far and do things that they don't want to do and just take advantage of them. So much companies and industries do that, like, for people. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how much people care more about money than people. Like, somebody would actually, like, start... Well, you could see it anywhere, but I'm just saying, like, it's crazy how, like, companies will treat people less than money. Like, they care more about money than humans, which I think is crazy. Some people will say no. People will be like, oh, money's obviously better than some humans. Okay, but like, money is value to us, but but it's, at the end of the day, it's paper, and people are valuing paper than people, and I think that's crazy.
covered it in propaganda. They photoshopped,
Like, for example, even family members. You see a lot of crime shows where there will be, like, a daughter or a son that kills their dad or mom for money, for their, like, life insurance and stuff. And just, like, for money. There are kids that kill their parents for money to get, like, their inheritance. And that is insane.
a picture of her onto someone being beheaded. Her family disowned her.
They photoshopped a picture of me onto someone getting beheaded, and they said something along the lines of, "You're next."
She quit less than a month later, but none of this blew over like she hoped it would, and she couldn't get back into regular employment.
I realized that I can never work a normal job again.
Bang Bros disputed her account of her career and her argument that they ripped her off. They eventually created a website dedicated to calling her out, called factsbeatfiction.co, pushing back on her claims and stating that they paid her over $178,000. They even said she filmed before with a different studio under the name Mia Khalister before Bang Bros, and that her entire narrative was just a total lie. She claimed she walked away from adult content with her head held high, but adult content hadn't walked away from her. So naturally, there was only one way to climb back up the ladder, and OnlyFans took over the entire industry at that exact moment. When Mia joined OnlyFans in 2020, she framed it as a moral response to the Beirut port explosion that killed 218 people in her home country. She publicly pledged to donate the first $100,000 she made on the platform.
In 2020,
I
decided to join
that's
OnlyFans.
good. But I'm just saying, like, the money's coming from OnlyFans. Not the best money to donate with. But yeah, if she wants to help causes, like, that's great. Like, even if, like, who cares at the end of the day, that money's gonna help people. But it just seems like she's just lying and just wants to join OnlyFans for the money, obviously. So she just sort of said that instead of lying, but yeah.
After the Beirut blast, I made the decision to join OnlyFans and donate.
Yeah,
If I was
because
able
of the blast. Okay, come on.
to make $100,000, I am donating $100,000, and that's why I'm joining this platform.
She probably made millions.
It doesn't take a very high level of skepticism to wonder whether that was true or just ethical positioning. But either way, it clearly worked out for her career. This is where Mia Khalifa became the bridge between two completely different worlds. The old world of adult content that chewed the old porn stars up and spat them out, leaving them in places like the tunnels under Las Vegas. And then there's the new world of adult content that makes celebrity entrepreneurs. Let's take Sophie Rain. In 2022, she was a 19-year-old waitress barely covering her bills. She didn't come from an adult entertainment background, but OnlyFans was still her exit.
My sister was doing OnlyFans, and I was like, maybe I'll try it so I can get out of this serving job, because I was just serving. I was working literally every day, 9 to 5.
Restaurant?
It's called Papa Joe's. It was some Italian restaurant down in Tampa. But it was fun. Like, I loved it. I loved serving, but I just wasn't making money.
It all kicked off with her infamous Spider-Man video.
Every time I was like, no, it's not me. No, it's not me. They're like, no, you're lying. It is. So I just kind of ran with it.
It wasn't even her, but she made about $95 million in 3 years from a case of mistaken
even
identity.
her?
So in 3
What?
years, how much have you made?
I think last time I checked, it was
That's
like
crazy.
$95 million.
Holy f-
Here's what really happened. In September 2023, Sophie and her sister Sierra posted a Spider-Man themed photo set on their OnlyFans. Around the same time, another creator called Naomi, who happens to look like Sophie, filmed an explicit video in a skin-tight black Spider-Man suit. The internet saw the photo set and the explicit video and conflated the two. Millions of men became convinced Sophie had secretly leaked hardcore content. She clocked that it was free traffic and started dressing up as Spider-Man on TikTok to deliberately stoke the rumor. There is no real Sophie Rain's Spider-Man video. The whole thing is a fantasy that lived in the minds of her audience. She also created
Wow,
scarcity
man.
around her.
So it was not even her. Wow. So what? From a video that she didn't even make, she was able to profit on because the girl in the porn video itself looked like her. That is crazy. That's how she got so fucking known. Oh my gosh. I didn't know it was like that. Wow. Like, that's a crazy way to become like famous from somebody else posting a sexual video that looks like you.
Content by describing herself as a virgin, though she
Wow.
backtracked on that a year later. I don't think people talk enough about how much these addictions can quietly affect your life, especially when it starts early in your life. It's one of those things that seems harmless at first, but over time it chips
just an
away at your
ad.
focus, your discipline, and even your confidence.
This might be an ad.
And the worst part is most people try to fix it with willpower alone, which almost never works long term. You just end up stuck in the same loop. And that's why I want to talk to you about this. There's content blockers out there like our sponsor Quitter, which is an app designed to
Okay, I'm good. But yes, if you are addicted to stuff like that, you should get help, because that is a serious addiction, in my opinion. Like, for instance, I wouldn't say it's super bad. It's not good to do it every day. But if you're doing it every day, it's not bad. Like, if you're doing it once a day, in my opinion. But if you're doing it multiple times a day and it starts like actually affecting your life, like, for instance, if you go to like a public place and then you get the urge to like watch it, and you like can't stop the urge and you have to go to the bathroom, like, that's crazy. Like, it gets to a point where it starts actually to affect people's lives. I haven't met anyone like that, but I've seen it on social media. Like, I've scrolled on TikTok and somebody was like talking about their porn addiction, which I thought was crazy, because first, that kind of would be hard to talk about. And second, I didn't know it could get that bad, but it can. Like, actually, like, it'll they will watch it so much that it actually starts affecting their life. And like that, like, you just gotta stop, man. You gotta find a way to stop, man. Like, I know it's just like any other addiction, but like, I feel like that's one of the worst because I also feel like porn has an effect on the brain too.
Make quitting porn a
Okay, I didn't skip it. Okay.
and download Quitter today to try it out. Sophie said her content involves some level of nudity, which is probably understated, but she's definitely not out there doing what Bonnie Blue is doing, which epitomizes exactly what adult content has become.
Bonnie Blue's
setting the
crazy, right? Like, doesn't she do like crazy stuff? Like, I heard one thing that she was gonna do. I don't know if she did it, but like she was gonna be in a cage, and then I don't know if she did it or not. So I don't know that, but what I do know is that she was going all over the place on social media. I think last year about how she was gonna go in a cage. I think she was gonna be naked, and then there was just gonna be like a bunch of men that would just go in the cage and could do whatever they want. Like it was like a glass cage, which that is crazy. I don't know if she did it or not, but yeah, if she does stuff like that, that's nuts. That's nuts.
fantasy of
But she probably does make a lot of money. So if it's worth it in the end, but in my personal opinion, I don't think selling your body is worth it for money because in the end I feel like that would be a regret. But people are different and some people care more about money than others, you know. So yeah. So it's not like she's like super evil, you know. It's not like she's like causing people to like die or something. But yeah, she's making money and if that's what she wants to do, whatever. But I do know that she has done or said that she was going to do some crazy things like that cage video, which
personal
that's
access to
crazy.
an attractive woman. Sophie now has 16 million Instagram followers. When she walks through a shopping mall in Miami, paparazzi camp outside to ask her about her rumored collab with Drake. The mansion she co-founded with 7 other OnlyFans creators was described in the mainstream press as the Gen Z version of the Playboy Mansion. She's constantly associated with big celebrity events. The industry has swallowed itself and given birth to something entirely new. A monetized intimacy economy where the content can be softer, the stigma lower, and the money exponentially bigger. All while the sexual acts are actually increasingly optional.
What the fuck are the guys paying for at that point?
It's curiosity, and then also
With that
like
specific person?
Yeah.
I guess, right? Yeah.
yeah, because you can sit there and have a conversation with me, you know, like you don't get that just from going on Instagram.
Mia got paid $12,000 for explicit permanent graphic content. Sophie got paid $1.4 million by one man for messages. And that was back in 2025. It's over $6 million now.
I want to say last time I checked, it was like 1.4.
Wow. Wow.
But that's of all
My
time.
God.
That's of all time. And I've been doing this for going on 2 years now.
Who the fuck is this guy? That's got to be like a fucking Middle
fucking-
Eastern prince.
I can't say much obviously because I'm not going to air anyone's shit out.
Yeah.
But he's a good guy.
Rightly or wrongly, it still destroyed aspects of her social life. Her parents both got fired and she became their provider.
Right now, like I'm supporting them completely. They both got fired from their jobs because of me. So I feel
That's nuts, man. Wow. I didn't know it would affect the family's lives. Like obviously it would affect the family lives of a porn star, but I'm talking about like one of your family members goes into like the porn industry and then their parents, let's say like the daughter goes into the porn industry, their parents get fired because she went in there. I think that's crazy because the parents didn't do that. They didn't choose to do that. Their daughter did. Like how that's crazy that company fired them. But yeah, that's nuts.
a little bit of guilt in that, and like I feel like I need to provide for them also because
Well, yeah, you
my-
got them fired. Like obviously, like if you weren't taking care of your parents and you were the reason they got fired, if you didn't provide for them, you would feel so much guilt.
my fault, I guess. But
Sophie Rain built an empire on a video that never existed, but a couple of years before that, a young actress called Chloe Cherry ran the inverse strategy for the same result. She'd moved to Miami the week she turned 18 to do adult content, and spent the next few years becoming one of the most watched performers on Pornhub. Then during lockdown, she filmed a graphic parody of HBO's teen drama Euphoria. Not long after, the real creator of the genuine Euphoria emailed her asking her to audition for the show. She got the part, again proving how can scaffold women to a new path in life. Within months of her first episode airing, she'd walked New York and Milan Fashion Week, fronted a Versailles campaign, and starred in the music video for Charli XCX's 360. In just under a year, she went from being the most watched woman on a specific hub category to being a face the fashion industry was actively competing for. This isn't entirely new. 20 years before OnlyFans existed, a young LA socialite proved that a leaked sex tape didn't have to end a woman's career. It could actually build one. That woman was Kim Kardashian, one of the most widely known names on the planet. The promiscuity of people like herself and Paris Hilton was—
she got famous from fucking her sex tape being leaked. Like, that's not, like, yeah, it is crazy to think about, like, the girls in this industry, how they became rich. And it seems like, for example, Sophie and stuff, obviously, like, it's not obviously luck, you know? But I'm saying that for any industry, luck has a part to play in it, right? Like, if Kim Kardashian wasn't who she was, and then she probably wouldn't have got famous, like, and then that sex tape just got her way bigger, and then Sophie Rain, she got famous for a video that she didn't even make. Like, that's insane luck right there, you know? So I'm a guarantee you that there's some girls out there that are like, oh, all I gotta do is make a couple like sexy videos on OnlyFans and I'll make it. But no, I'm pretty sure like the average person on OnlyFans probably doesn't make that much, you know? It's probably like the 5% of OnlyFans, the top 5% of like OnlyFans models, they probably make like almost all the money.
Creating sex entrepreneurs without going through the industry. It was classier, more refined, and more marketable. The Kardashian tape was filmed with her then boyfriend Ray J in 2003. It went public in February 2007. At the time, an explicit video of a young woman with no particular fame or career wasn't viewed as the norm like it might be today. When these tapes leaked, they were massive news stories, and the entertainment industry was paying very close attention. Because somewhere in the media frenzy that followed, someone in a boardroom ran the calculations. And the math said that what happened to Kim Kardashian could be converted with the right packaging into one of the most lucrative television deals of the decade. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered 8 months later and propelled the whole family to the center of celebrity culture for nearly a decade.
Yeah, I never really watched that show. Not gonna lie, I don't really like reality TV that much, so
Kim Kardashian's worth roughly $1.7 billion.
So I don't really like that show. Like, I don't really like reality TV.
The tape that kicked it all off is a mere footnote in her CV.
Would you be where you are had there not been a sex tape?
No.
You know, I think that's how I was definitely introduced to the world. It was a negative way, so I felt like I really had to work 10 times harder to get people to see the real me.
She's quite honest about impact, saying the worst part wasn't the humiliation itself, but having to explain the tape to her grandmother. She says she was grateful her father had died 4 years earlier and didn't live to see it.
I had to explain that to my grandmother. So I think I was more...
And you're most glad you didn't have to explain it to...
my father.
Which is basically a premonition of how many OnlyFans models feel today. OnlyFans relies on publicity and self-promotion. You can't easily shoot scenes under an alias and hide them as a double life. What Kim had inadvertently proved is that attention itself is the asset, and you need to market yourself as a
I didn't know her dad died.
Person. Whatever generates the attention is almost secondary. The market
That's crazy though that I didn't know that. But
Logic
whatever,
of
I don't
modern
really care.
rewards whatever generates the most clicks, and everything else is downstream of that rule, which is exactly why marketing stunts are getting more controversial and extreme. The Hall of Fame today looks more like an arms race where performers compete for a share of the audience's attention. Like in 2019 when Belle Delphine sold jars of her own bath water for $35 each. She faked her own arrest with a photoshopped Metropolitan Police mugshot and briefly ran a account that turned out to be videos of 2 roosters. Her whole thing was just absurdist performance art dressed up as sex work, and it made her one of the most famous e-girls on the internet. In 2021, a 17-year-old called Bad Barbie, who had become briefly famous on Dr. Phil for telling the audience to catch her outside, teased her OnlyFans launch for weeks on Instagram. She then opened the account the day she turned 18 and made $1 million in 6 hours. Lil Tay would then follow in her footsteps years later. In May 2025, an Australian
What?
creator called Annie Knight hired a swingers club on the Gold Coast and had sex with 583 men in 6 hours. She was then hospitalized with vaginal bleeding and posted the
Is that true? Probably though. Dude, that's like close to 600. Yo, dude, that's crazy, man. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of guys. Holy.
Hospital photo to Instagram captioned, "I guess 583 guys in a day isn't that good for your body."
Yeah.
In October 2024, the 23-year-old British model called Lily Phillips invited 101 men into an Airbnb and had sex with all of them in a single day. She filmed it as a documentary. A clip of her crying afterwards.
I didn't see.
Isn't that good for your body? In October 2024, the 23-year-old British model
I didn't hear it. What the fuck?
Called Lily Phillips invited 101 men into an Airbnb
101 men.
And had sex with all of them in a single day. She filmed it as a documentary. A clip of her crying afterwards, her friend's arm around her, got 200.
Holy crap, man. But why? She filmed it as a documentary. What?
100 million views in
what
one
kind of
tweet.
fucking
She has then
documentary?
since faked a pregnancy, faked an arrest, filmed a classroom roleplay with 18-year-olds, and announced she'd be beating the existing world record by sleeping with 1,000 men in a day.
Damn.
And then of course there's Bonnie Blue, who took the record of 1,057 men in 12 hours. She also faked a pregnancy and will risk arrest, deportation, or practically anything to stay relevant. And somehow this has gotten her on the podcast circuit like all of these girls. These stunts echo the much wider trend across social media where AI slop and brain rot content dominate for their acute ability to hijack our dopamine. Mr. Beast, Sidemen, and others mastered that formula with escalating challenges that became more and more outrageous, leaving nothing off the table in the pursuit of attention. It's all pervasive, and adult entertainment naturally made a home in social media's algorithmic universe because ramping up the shock value is so easy when it's someone's body. Behind all of these stunts is usually an incredibly well-engineered business that proves how much porn has transformed. They have staff, a logistics operation, and marketing budgets rivaling tech startups. Probably the biggest weapon they have in their marketing arsenal is those who oppose them.
It's all the Karens sat at home that are going to complain about me being here that are making me rich because they make it blow up. And then when they're sat at home complaining about it to their, their husbands.
Like, yeah, that's true. Like it grows the porn stars. It makes them more known. Like the hate makes them more known. Which you could say that for like really anybody, But I would also say like being known as a porn star, bro, it's gonna be hard to like have a real relationship. I'm gonna say like to get married, that's going to be hard, like for these like porn stars, like it is, or they're gonna and say it's not, they find a guy right away when they want to get married, right? But I guarantee the guy is like some fucking weirdo because I just can't imagine that, like, in my head, right? It might work out for them, you never know. But I'm just saying, in my head, I just feel like these porn stars won't, unless like they met someone before they started in the industry. Like, if you're single and you're in the industry and then you want to get married later on and have a child and stuff, dude, first off, your child's going to get made fun of at any school. So most likely you're going to have to homeschool that child. And also, like, talk about relationships like that. Like, I guarantee that will affect your relationship with your husband, if you could even find one, if you're in the porn industry. Like, I guarantee a lot of these porn stars have trouble finding like a husband or someone that will like stay with them for a long time. It's also my opinion. I also could be wrong, but I don't think I am.
They're then wanting to come and subscribe.
Putting their self-destructive elements of the lifestyle aside for a moment,
yeah, like they get all this money, but yeah, it just affects all their relationships around them. People look at them differently. Society looks at them differently. Even the ones that are for them, like the guys that they're probably around, they all probably look at them like sex objects. Like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not trying to hate, but I'm just saying, like, girls that want to join this industry don't always think about that, or guys, like, don't always think about, but it's mainly girls that get hate for it. I feel like, but also guys do too. But like, they don't realize how much it's going to affect their relationships. Some of them do know that. I guarantee a lot of them do know that it's going to affect all of their relationships if they get big in the porn industry. But there's obviously going to be those people that don't care. Like, they're all in it for the money. You know, they just care about money so much that they will sell their bodies for money, you know. And I'm not going to sit here and judge them, but in my opinion, I feel like that doesn't bring true happiness, you know. In my opinion, just having money, in my opinion, doesn't bring true happiness. It's like the relationships that you have, and the friendships that you make, and the loving relationships. Like, for instance, a lot of people have multiple partners, and then they'll find that one, and then they will die with, or sometimes they will die with that one person and never date again and stuff like that. And I feel like that's what all life is about: experiences and having real friendships and relationships with people that really care about you. And I feel like that's literally the point of life, in my opinion. So I feel like, yeah, these porn stars they might, and I guarantee some of them have real relationships. I'm not saying they don't, but I'm saying a lot of them struggle with that. But yes, they do have money. I'm just saying a lot of people in the porn industry struggle with real relationships and having like real friends and real connections with people, because a lot of people see them a certain way, you know.
Operators who understand the algorithm, the incentives, and the market better than anyone. Sophie Rain's instinct to leverage a video that wasn't even hers is annoyingly smart. Bonnie Blue will hang around any big influencer of the time, whether it be Andrew Tate or the Nelk Boys, as she knows doing so will keep the money pumping into her operation. Mia Khalifa found a way to make herself look innocent in front of mainstream audiences, and this is why culture had to stop ignoring them. Every magazine, podcast, and TV channel is starving for attention, and these women are sitting on more of it than anyone else in the room. Ignoring them doesn't make them go away, it just hands the traffic to whoever covers them instead. So the commercial decision becomes to platform them, like when Bonnie Blue said this on UK daytime TV when anyone could have been watching.
You're like a Premiership footballer. You're
I mean, I work with balls, so it's the same
There we
thing.
go.
So, barely legal, 18-year-olds.
That is crazy though. Bonnie Blue, and then it says predator or entrepreneur. Yeah. That's a crazy headline.
Because as I started my content, I realized it was not necessarily relatable to the average person. And I wanted to make my content relatable. I'm just a girl, I'm relatable, I'm sort of the girl next door vibes.
People commented things like, interviewing a prostitute at 10:35 a.m. is okay for family viewing? And how can they have this conversation on morning TV as if it's normal? Imagine if you were a kid watching that asking your parents who Bonnie Blue was, and what she meant by working with bulls or switching to barely 18-year-olds. But there is another side, far away from this very public layer, that we've not yet explored. Because while the conversation has spent the last decade arguing about whether those women are empowered or exploited, two-dimensional or sophisticated, victims or villains, the really smart ones are those who built the industry. You can almost certainly picture some of the girls in this video. You know what Mia looks like, you know what Kim looks like, you'd recognize Bonnie Blue in a supermarket. These are some of the most visible people alive. The men who own the platforms they work on, however, are notoriously invisible. When Mia Khalifa was filming for Bang Bros in late 2014, Bang Bros was independent, but was soon rolled up into a vast internet empire backed by institutional cash and managed by faceless executives. The parent structure behind most of her distribution was
see, like, that's the thing, like, all these, and that's why they'll exploit porn stars, and I guarantee porn stars will have horrible contracts and stuff like that. These people are faceless, you know? They don't have, their face isn't a brand. You know, their whole, how they make money is their clients, you know, and through the porn stars and taking advantage of them. They also make money through that, you know. So it's obviously never going to stop, but yes, it is, like, not everybody thinks about that, you know. Like, the people behind all these, like, porn sites and stuff like that, and the executives and stuff, like, they're the ones that are the most powerful, because nobody knows who they are.
Canadian-operated conglomerate called MindGeek, which owned Pornhub, YouPorn, RedTube,
What?
Brazzers, and several.
Wait, I thought Pornhub was just one so a company owns all of these. MindGeek. What?
Soon rolled up into a vast internet empire backed by institutional cash and managed by faceless executives. The parent structure behind most of her distribution was a Canadian-operated conglomerate called MindGeek, which owned Pornhub, YouPorn, RedTube, Brazzers, and several hundred other sites, all controlled through a network of shell companies across the world. One of its recent owners, a guy called Bernd Berg.
I didn't know it was like this, man. I didn't know the porn industry was like this. Damn.
Wasn't known to the media or photographed
like, that's like, I'm not gonna say like it's a monopoly, but it's kind of close to one, right? I don't know, man.
Public until recently. MindGeek wasn't just built for the love of the game, it was backed with nearly $500 million from JP Morgan Chase, among other major investors.
JP Morgan Chase Bank invested into a company that owns a bunch of porn sites like Pornhub. What? Yo. I didn't know that, man.
And weirdly, even Cornell University. The same
A university is investing into porn sites. What the fuck? What? Yo. It feels like I'm tripping. Yo. This
institutional capital that owns stakes in Meta, ByteDance, and Google.
Wait, what?
With nearly $500 million from JP Morgan Chase, among other major investors. And weirdly, even Cornell University. The same institutional capital that owns stakes in Meta, ByteDance, and Google is also indirectly exposed to the adult platforms and the companies that profit from them. Which means ordinary people's retirements are, in very small and very diffuse ways, invested in the same economy that Bonnie Blue is helping to expand.
Yeah, dude, that is crazy, man. Like, I want to know more companies that have invested in the porn industry, like big companies. That's crazy. There's probably been There's probably a lot. That's nuts. That's nuts.
Fans is the next level, springing out of the studios and making the girls do most, if not all, of the legwork. And when you look at what OnlyFans really is, it looks exactly like Amazon, Fiverr, or DoorDash.
Really?
Thousands of near identical thumbnails of near identical women doing near identical poses, all fighting for the same attention, all undercutting each other on price, all promising more than the last one.
Guess,
it personifies the direct.
I guess it's close to Amazon if it's like that. Yeah. Like that, yeah. I don't know, man. Wow. So it's like it's like the Amazon fucking store. That's
of today's
crazy.
Tech industry. It's the gig economy with sex as the
Put
product,
it in that
using
perspective.
a subscription model backed by viral marketing. On the top layer, the man who owned OnlyFans until his death in March was worth $4.7 billion. On the bottom layer, for every Sophie Rain, roughly 10,000 women upload content nobody is paying for, subsidizing the traffic that makes Sophie Rain
That's crazy though.
possible, while the platform takes a big cut, routed through a holding company and into a private equity deal being negotiated in Silicon
10,000 people, and most of those people make nothing on that app. 10,000 people there's 10,000 people posting a day. Well, probably more than that, but yeah. Like, that's nuts. And they're and only like a little percentage of OnlyFans models make a lot of money. Like, that's
Valley, all to completely our entire society and do untold damage to our culture because of this. What has been labeled as empowerment really involves giving someone on OnlyFans the ability to negotiate the terms of her own exploitation, take home a larger cut of it, and then call the result a business, which on the individual level looks like a meaningful improvement versus Mia Khalifa's situation in 2014. On the collective level, it's built the most efficient content extraction machine in the history of the internet. Millions of women competing against each other, producing an unlimited library of material for a platform they don't own in exchange for a wage that, for most of them, works out to be less than minimum wage. The thing the industry figured out somewhere around 2016 is that you don't need to exploit anyone if you can get them to exploit themselves. You just need to build the infrastructure, take a cut of the door, and let the market do the rest. And those
Yeah. And that's what the porn industry does. And that's why they make so much money. And they're all faceless. You know, I don't know anybody that works for those companies, you know. There's obviously some people that do, but I'm just saying, like, they're faceless, man. And they're the ones running the whole fucking thing and making so much money from
to
it.
become mainstream celebrities
So much,
using
bro. So much. And we don't even know who they are. They're living in fucking 5 houses. They got like 5 houses. Fucking one in Hawaii, one in another thing, and nobody knows who they are. And that's what a lot of people dream of. A lot of people dream of being rich and not being famous, because fame isn't always like, a lot of people that are famous say that it sucks because you can't do regular things, you know? But then when you're behind these companies, you know, you're getting so much money. Nobody knows who you are. You can do whatever you want. Basically.
It's a gateway to something more, create something to aspire.
Like, not anything you want, but I'm talking about, like, you can do a lot of, like, nobody knows who you are. You've got so much money in your bank account, you can just go to the park and nobody will know that you're rich. You know, that's what I'm talking about. And some people will think like, oh, Tyler, you're stupid. Like that's not that crazy, which it's not, but I'm just saying, like, that's what a lot of people want. A lot of people want money, not fame. And I would say most, even me, like, I would want money instead of fame, obviously. But yeah, like, that's what a lot of people want, and that's what these guys in the porn industry have. Like, that work behind the scenes and for these companies, like, they're making so much money and they're faceless. Nobody knows who they are.
To, even though most will never make it.
Yes. Which is crazy. Like, these girls are uploading their pictures thinking that they're going to become rich and stuff like that on OnlyFans, and most of them never make it. That sucks for them, you know. For a lot of girls in that industry, I would say, because obviously we only he only talked about like 4 girls, you know. There's so much more, but those are the top, and that's who everybody knows because they're just so famous. But there's so much other girls that are as hot, maybe even hotter than them, that won't make it, which is crazy to think about, in my opinion. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'll look at the comments a little bit. Porn brought to you by the same people dragging us into endless wars. I don't know about that. The reason why we're in the Iran war is because I'm pretty sure it's because of Israel. Not like 100% sure on that, but I think that's why. The most sex-obsessed culture, having the least sex, and the most social media obsessed culture with the most antisocial behavior. True, yeah. But it's never ever gonna stop because the porn industry makes so much money. These companies are gonna just keep on running. Porn stars are gonna get more rich, and also a lot of other porn stars will get ripped off and taken advantage of. And yeah. And why? Because it's a rich industry. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. This was a good video, and see you guys later.